sell on Shopee, overview, and set up seller account. Today, I'm gonna teach you how you can start selling on Shopee's biggest online marketplace. In this lesson, we are going to take a look at a few things. The first thing is what exactly is Shopee and how is it different from other online shopping websites. Number two, we are going to take a look at Shopee's launch and growth in Malaysia. Number three, how exactly does Shopee make money and why it is important for you as a seller to understand that. And lastly, we are going to take a look at the pros and cons of selling on Shopee. I think you should consider all of this before you jump aboard. So, if you have been thinking about starting to sell on Shopee, or you are just curious about Shopee, how it works, how it makes money, then I think you should learn this lesson carefully. Hi, Mr. Wang. What is Shopee and how do you actually make money on it? This is a question that I get asked fairly often by my students. And the reason why they are asking me this question is because they've heard about or have seen people who have sold products on Shopee or have made money on Shopee. But then when they come to the Shopee website here, they see a pretty standard e-commerce website, quite ordinary. And if we were to compare it to another e-commerce website, for example here, the signature market, we find that they don't really look that different on the outset. Here you can see that there are places for existing customers to log in and then new customers to sign up to start buying on Shopee. Same thing on the signature market website. Both have promotional banner here and categories and products. Also the discounted products. So from the outset, they look quite similar. And if you have never sold on a marketplace like Shopee before, it can be quite confusing to understand the mechanics of how this would work. So how exactly does Shopee work and how is it different from websites like Signature Market? The answer to that question is that Shopee is what we call an online marketplace, whereas Signature Market is what we considered a branded storefront. So what's the difference between the two? The main difference between an online marketplace like Shopee and a branded storefront like Signature Market is that online marketplace offer a platform for buyers and sellers to meet, and the selling transaction happens on the platform. On the other hand, a branded storefront will sell directly to their customers without the involvement of any kind of platform or middle person. You can think of online marketplaces like a big mall with little shoppers inside. Although you are going to the mall to buy things, it's very likely that when you arrive at the mall, you can go to specific shops to buy the products. As we can see here on Shopee, although there are many products being displayed, if you look inside, if I were to click here, we'll find that this isn't sold by Shopee. It's sold by a shop on Shopee. On the other hand, if we look at signature market, we can't find a similar setup here. If we were to click inside, we'll find that this product isn't sold by any other shop than signature market. We can't find that this is linked to a store inside signature market. That's not the case. You can safely say that all of these products are sold on signature market by signature market. On the other hand, this mobile phone is sold on Shopee by Oppo, and this is the reason why we hear people talk about selling on Shopee, making money on Shopee. But not same thing for websites such as signature market. It's because you can open a shop inside Shopee, or in other words, become a seller on Shopee, but not on a branded storefront like signature market. Now, let's take a look at Shopee's launch in 2015. The landscape of e-commerce at that time, as well as the growth that Shopee has experienced. Since in late 2015, Shopee launched in Malaysia. At that time, there was already a really big marketplace player that was launched by the Rocket Internet Group. A few years earlier in 2012, and that was Lazada. Everyone was buying from Lazada, and there were also many people who experienced their first online buying experience on Lazada itself. With such a giant competition, Shopee seemed so small, and it seemed nearly impossible for such a tiny new player like Shopee to compete. But you don't go into competition with a giant without having a challenge planned first. And for Shopee, its early challenge could be summarized into three things. Number one, mobile first. Number two, zero commissions. And number three, free shipping. Unlike Lazada, which was and still is a primary desktop or laptop platform, Shopee decided from the beginning to be mobile first. And this would later prove to be very advantageous for Shopee. Because as we will see, more and more Malaysians as well as users all around the world were going mobile first with their online shopping, primarily because mobile phones were getting cheaper, data was getting cheaper, and the iOS or OS inside these devices were getting more advanced. So online shopping became this seamless experience. With no commissions for seller challenge, Shopee will be able to pull in thousands and thousands of new sellers into the platform. Because compared to Lazada, which was charging up to 15% commissions in every single sale on the platform, Shopee suddenly seemed like a reasonable alternative. And finally, free shipping. Free shipping would be the last piece of this puzzle. It would draw in all the buyers from Lazada to Shopee. Lazada, at the time, did offer free shipping in its early days in 2012 to 2013. But now, in 2015, it was a rather mature platform which didn't really rely on free shipping as a growth strategy anymore. This would prove as well to be one of the Shopee's most successful growth hacking strategies, as a lot of buyers will come to Shopee from Lazada to take advantages of this subsidized free shipping. These smart moves in its early strategy allowed Shopee to have a strong foundation for growth in the next 9 years. Fast forward to 2024, today, Shopee has become the largest online marketplace in Southeast Asia. In fact, if you compare the traffic between Shopee and Lazada, you'll find that Shopee has almost 4 times as much traffic as Lazada. If you look at the latest figure here from SimilarWeb, 58 million visits in that month. It means that if you consider the size of the Malaysian population, it's almost like every single Malaysian has visited Shopee at least once in August. Now that you have an idea of the type of landscape that Shopee launched into, now let's shift our focus and take a look at how Shopee actually makes money. So there are a few ways that Shopee makes money. And the number one way is by charging sellers commissions on successful transactions on the site. So every time you sell something, somebody has bought something and the money has transferred to you. They'll take a cut from there, and that will be their revenue. The second way that Shopee makes money is by selling ads to sellers who want to improve the visibility of their product listings. Meaning to say that they want their product listings to be seen by more people. There are a few different kinds of ads, namely banners, ads like the ones that you see on the homepage. So you can have a graphic placed on pages like homepages, category pages, as well as campaign pages. But do note that sometimes these ads are not available to all seller accounts. They may be restricted to, for example, preferred sellers or Shopee Mall sellers. The second ad that Shopee sells is what's known as a search keyword ads. This means these ads would appear at the very top when the buyer is trying search for specific keywords. For instance, if I'm a seller and I'm looking for a mask, what do you see here? If you scroll down, you'll see that this top row is populated by ads, and the rows after that are not. Do differentiate them by looking at this. If it says ad, it's an ad. The ones that are not ads don't have that tag. So this is a search ad. These search ads, they are not priced the same. They follow a bidding system. If the keyword is really popular among a lot of sellers, then the price will go up. Finally, the last kind of ad that Shopee sells is what's known as a discovery ad. So if you click into this listing, for example, then let's say I'm a buyer and I'm just checking this out, reading the information about the product and the reviewers. Then I come to the very end of the listing. Here, there are a few sections from the same shop display similar products. Then the next section is similar products. Products that may be used in a similar way or just look similar appear here, but they are from different shops. Here are where discovery ads are placed. As you can see here, the second listing here is an ad. So finally here is also you may like. Less similar, but also close enough. Here also, where the discovery ads can be displayed. So you look at this last listing, actually is an ad. So those are the few ways that Shopee makes money. Also, it is not limited to just that. I'm just highlighting the main ways and the most obvious ways that they are making money from the platform. Finally, let's take a look at the pros and cons of selling on Shopee. The main pros of selling on Shopee is that it is the largest marketplace in Southeast Asia. With so much traffic, it's really likely that if you were to list the product, you have the best chance of showing it to your ideal customer who might buy from you. The second pro of selling on Shopee is that you don't have to set up your own shop, set up your own payment gateway, etc. All you have to do is list your products and wait for buyers to come. This can help you to save a ton of money and a ton of time. And you will be able to kickstart your e-commerce business quite quickly. Now let's take a look at the biggest cons of selling on Shopee. The main con of selling on Shopee is competition. As you can see, it's really easy to get started selling on Shopee. And what happens is that there are many sellers who are competing with you for the same set of customers. For example, the earlier example of mask. Now let's take a look at how many people are selling masks. Okay, so you can see here, just the term mask brings up more than 100 pages. And if I scroll down, there are a lot of sellers for this product. And what it means when there is a lot of competition is that your product has to be quite competitively priced next to your competition, because your customers will be able to do a very quick comparison. Let's see if I were to take a look at this and this. Okay, you can see here, they are both selling the same thing. One is more expensive than other, okay? So the customer who wants to buy the cheaper product will absolutely click on the cheaper listing. Sometimes it means that you have to price below your ideal price. The second biggest con of selling on Shopee is that you can't really design your store to accentuate your brand. Let's take a look at maybe a few different stories. Okay, if I were to come here, view this shop, and then let's find another shop. Okay, so if we were to compare these two shops, you can't really see a huge difference between them. In terms of the design, everybody has to comply with the standard framework that Shopee has already provided here. If you compare it to signature market, for example, what we saw earlier, you can customize the shop and way you want. You can change your listings any way you want, and your brand can be as big as you want it to be. But as we've seen here, your brand is really small, okay? If you take a look at the product listings, your brand doesn't really appear anywhere else. So if you are trying to grow a brand on Shopee, it can be a little bit tough. So that's a quick introduction to what it is, how it works, a brief history, how it makes money, and the pros and cons for anyone considering to sell on this marketplace platform. Next, we are gonna take a look at how you can set up your seller account. So this depends on whether you already have an existing Shopee account that you are using to shop with or not. The good news is that if you already have an existing Shopee account, there's nothing else you need to do. The Seller Center is already included in your buyer account. All you have to do is go to the app or the desktop version and click on Seller Center. On the other hand, if you don't have a Shopee account that you've bought anything from or have never set up a Shopee account, then you need to first register for one in order to access the Seller Center. How you can do that is click on Sign Up on the desktop version here or on the mobile version. Do the same thing on the mobile app after you've downloaded it. Okay, so click here to sign up. As you can see here, there are 4 ways for you to sign up. The first way is by using your phone number. The second is by using your Facebook account. The third, Google account. And finally, using an Apple account. So either of these methods will work, depends on which you prefer. For example, in this case, I'm going to try registering with my Google account. All I have to do is click here, select the account that I want to register with. And there you go, I'm in, and the Shopee account is set up. Of course, if you opt to, for example, use your mobile phone to set it up, there might be some verification process in between. but it should be simple enough. If you are familiar with the use of tag or pack codes, so that's it for setting up your seller account on Shopee. That might have come across as a surprisingly simple process. And it is with this same account you can buy as well as sell on Shopee. So once you have this account set up, that is not all that you need to do. Of course, there are things that you need to configure inside your seller account. So let's take a look at what those things are and what are the things that you can key in order to have your store up and ready. Okay, so I'm gonna guide you on the desktop version. Just because not all the options for the Seller Center are available on your mobile phone. Okay, so my recommendation is if you are just setting this up, to at least do it once on your desktop. If that's not an option, sure, try to do everything on the mobile version instead. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is go to the Seller Center here. When you are just getting started with your Shopee store, they'll ask you to fill in the information so that you can access the store. So full name, this can be the shop name. And then if you are running a business, phone number can be the business phone number. And of course, your business address. So I'm gonna just fill in some information here, like some dummy information. Here, I need to select. Okay, so once you fill in this information, these are going to be set up as your default address, pickup address, as well as the return address. So just to confirm that. All right, once you've set up the basic profile information for your seller account, there are a few more things that you need to set up before you can get started selling. So what are those things? Now let's take a look at them here on your left-hand side. So shipping setting is one that you have to set up, but we'll do it later. Those orders are not things that you set up right now. Okay, we'll take a look at that. But for your seller accounts scrolls, finance is very important for you to set up. So when you have purchases and the money comes in, where does it go? This is a very important step in the seller account setup process. So you need to do is first click on payment setting. Here, you have to create your balance PIN. This is to ensure the safety of your account. Only when the balance PIN is available, then the person can access this. So this is particularly important. If you are heading off this account to a staff or an agency to manage, but otherwise I'm just generally important in general for the security of your account. So click on Create PIN. Please do not use consecutive, repetitive numbers, the date of birth, or your bank account PIN as your wallet PIN. Once you have entered the PIN, just click on Next. Then, to just verify in your password again and phone number, then this is set up already. So that's step 1 in setting up the finance for your account. Now let's go to the next step, which is the bank accounts. Okay, click on bank accounts. So you'll be prompted to key in your password. Just go ahead and do that. So here you can add a bank account. Just connect a bank account of your choice. You need this account to be a Malaysian bank account or one that you can select from here. So it's up to you. Just key in the information and then save that. Okay, once you've done that, then let's scroll down. Data. Data is just a reporting. So we don't have to configure anything. The growth as well. The next one is customer service. This is something you want to set up now. So just go in, click on that. When the customer chats with you through your seller account, and would you want to have a default reply? So this would be helpful if you find that sometimes people ask the same question. For example, are they already stocked? They are being very impatient, like, why haven't you replied me? You could indicate here. Please expect a reply within how many hours? Maybe 24 hours. This is where you can do that. So how you can set this up is just enable it and then add it. Key in the information that you want to say to your customers. Could say, hi there, thanks for your message. We will get back with you in 24 hours. Kind regards. Okay, something like that. So every time a customer initiates a conversation, this message will be the first step they receive. And the next one is off work. You determine, like, what are your working hours? You might want to tell your customers, hey, we work between these dates and these dates, between these times and these times. But we will get back with you. You can add this. There is a default message written here, but you can always edit that. And then you can set your work hours. They have Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. enabled. But if you want to go for different hours, feel free to do that. If you want to also enable Saturday as a work day, these are easily changeable. Depends on what are your working hours like. So this is how you set up the chat assistants. Then we are here, shortcuts. Shortcuts will be more of like hand responses. These are not really compulsory at the moment. So probably when you've sold more products on Shopee and you've started to see yourself writing the same message over and over again, you can place them here as shortcuts. For now, we don't have to look at that. So the next part of the customer service is FAQ assistance. Let's take a look. This, I wouldn't really configure it out now, unless you do have the information available. But if you are interested, you can always go here. You have to keep writing here, not compulsory. You don't have to take a look at this at the moment. We can come back to it later. Okay, the next part will be the shop rating. It is nothing to configure there. The next three will be areas where you might want to figure right now. So first of all is the shop profile. The shop profile is what your customer thinks your store ends from the front. So let me just give you an idea. Let's say this shop, information like your name, logo, etc. will appear around here. So you need to give it a proper name, like this is just a dummy name. If you have some images, upload them. Shop description. This is where you can key in information about where your store is, your business establishment, working hours, what kind of products do you sell. For example, Malaysia Apparel store was established in 1989 as the premier supplier of apparel in Malaysia. You can key in your operating hours. Monday, Friday, you can go into even more details. You have up to 500 characters that you can use. I'm just giving you an example here. You can even edit your cover photo or add some images, videos. So once you've set that up, then just move to the next one is shop decoration. So you can do a lot here, and you can decorate the stores based on the device. The mobile version can be decorated differently from the PC version. You can get started by clicking on this. So a lot of things you can do here, but I would recommend, if you're very new, to just get started with something basic. We'll come back to this again in a later lessons, where I show you how to decorate your store. And there are a lot of things you can do here, but that won't be for this lesson at the moment. You can add banners, promos, etc. So now you end up with store like this. This helps to bring out some extra branding to your store versus if you didn't have anything here, so you can go ahead and do that. The next part is shop categories. This shop category is just the features. They show up here. Category, so you can place them like that. Then it will show up on the sidebar. So helps your customer to more easily discover the products that you sell and helps to categorize your products better. So now let's go back to the sentence here. Then the next one will be the edges. So earlier we already have one edges, but let's say you want the pickup edges to be different from the return edges. Make sure to add a new edges here, and then set it as a pickup or a return edges. But if it's the same edges, then there's nothing else you need to do, because you already set it up earlier. The next part is the shop setting. Basic setting on vacation mode, privacy, chat. Just go through it to see if there's anything that you would prefer to adjust the settings of. Otherwise, you can just leave it as it is. But make sure to do it at least once. Then your account here is where you can change your username. Earlier, we changed the shop name, but the username hasn't been changed. You can only change this every 30 days. Last step is to come here and set up shipping. You want to enable the all shipping edges that are the countries that you want to use, or you want to enable the ones that are close to your home. So just enable as many as you want. But I would caution to enable too many. Just enable the ones that you really use. So here as well, days to ship. Please note that you can only update to 2 days for ready stock products, or more than 7 days for pre-order products. So if you are selling ready stock products, then just leave it as it is. There's nothing that you need to do, but if you are selling pre-order products, then you can make 7 days or more. Another part here, the thermal printing. If you are using a thermal printer, you want to enable this. Okay, that's it for all the things that you need to set up for your seller account. Now, I'm gonna give you some after-class practices. First, please investigate what are the best-selling products on Shopee. Second, please list several products you plan to sell and investigate their sales on Shopee. All right, so that's all for the second lesson on the overview of Shopee and how to set up seller account on Shopee. I hope you found this lesson useful and you've learned something new today. For next lesson, we are gonna take a look at how to list first product on Shopee and how to set up Shopee ads and voucher. Thank you for watching this, and I hope to see you again in the next lesson. Bye bye.